Hello everyone, this is Elizabeth, aka Poetry in Motion, and welcome back to the Midweek Roundup, a series where I talk about this week's episode of the Clan Jaren series, read your comments, and answer your questions. So, this week's chapter was late, and I'm really sorry about that, but I had health stuff come up, and it wasn't pretty. It was not good. I think I'm going to probably post something about this like tomorrow, maybe even tonight, I'm not sure. But I'm going to be posting about Ehlers-Danlos and about spoon theory so that, you kind of have context when a chapter has to be late. I hate doing that because I have every Saturday since January, every single Saturday, I have uploaded. So I hated doing that, but it couldn't be helped. But at the same time, this chapter, I've basically been writing it the whole time that I've been writing this. The first time I realized that this was going to be a series, I have been writing this scene. And I'm so glad that it was so well received. So without further ado, let us get into the comments. All right. Nikibogwater says, already gave you a pretty thorough explanation of my feelings for this chapter over on Tumblr, but I wanted to boost your comment count here and add that this feels like the most well-written, solidly structured chapter yet. And mind you, none of your other chapters were poorly written / structured in the slightest. Aw, thanks. It's like somehow you went beyond 100% here. The thematic depth on display here is almost mind-boggling. Like, girl, how do you even think of all this symbolism? Just a resounding bravo to the whole thing. Well, thank you. Nikki, you flatter me as always. Oh, and guys, Nikibogwater has treated us, okay? She has drawn the best, I think the best fan art that she's drawn for my series yet. And I'm going to post a link to it in the description. Go look at it, go admire it, reblog it, love it, bask in its awesomeness. I actually kind of cried a little when I saw it, which is a little bit embarrassing, but seriously, she is super talented. But yeah, thank you. It was definitely a lot of the symbolism just kind of happened, naturally with the subject matter. It just kind of happened. I mean, not to sound like a jerk or anything, like, oh, this just sort of, it didn't take much at all. No, it took a lot of thought, but it just kind of happened. So, thank you, as always, Nikki, for your support. Kit 1. I'm glad you're feeling better. Everything in this chapter was just wonderful and sweet. I love Kara visiting and the armorer and Winta, even the baby missing his dad. So I definitely wanted Kara to be a big part of this fic because I just love her. She is such a wonderful... She's just incredible. She's a great display of how a more, fighting and, tough woman can also have, these kind of feelings. Like when she's with Din, she's like, all right, I'm gonna get this helmet off you, we're gonna save you, don't be stupid, so I just loved her and I wanted her to be in this fic more. Even the baby missing his dad, yeah, poor sweet green bean has a little bit of separation anxiety from his dad, so we're gonna be reckoning with that a little bit in this fic. But Omera putting the shirt on him definitely helped a little bit, and that was actually inspired by how my dog Sammy, she gets really scared of storms, and the only thing that'll calm her down, that'll stop her like shivering and shaking all over the place, is if we put my mom's old bathrobe on her, because it smells like her. So it's like, there. It's kind of like getting a hug. So that's where that came from. Sheena is a punk rocker. Didn't even know I needed Winta bonding with the armorer in my life, and yet here we are. I need more content like this in my life. Well, have I got news for you, buddy. This is a pretty big plot thread, so you're gonna get more of that. Also, the mental image of the little green bean wearing Daddy Mando's shirt killed me with 3 crying emojis. Girl, same. Hey, Nikibogwater, you want to get on that? Or anybody. If anybody wants to draw fan art of Baby Yoda in one of Mando's old flak vests, please do it. And if you do draw fan art for my stuff or do anything with my stuff, like, A, holy shit, like, that's crazy. And B, you know, send it my way. I mean, just tag it with Clan Jaren or Clan Jaren series, and yeah, I'll definitely look at it and fawn over it and probably cry. So, yeah, throwing that out there. Don't ever feel like you need to apologize for a late chapter either, by the way. You take care of you first. Thank you. That's really affirming to me. I'm a perfectionist, I want to make sure that every chapter is perfect, and I want to make sure that every chapter is on time. But sometimes that can't happen, so I kind of beat myself up about it. But hearing that is really affirming, and I really appreciate it. And now my I haven't even gotten to the key smash yet. I haven't even gotten to it yet. What are you doing to me, Sheena? And now my obligatory key smash. Alright, you ready for this? Hold on, my laptop. Yeah, my laptop almost died there for a second. Shaknakau Kalu would Fakshao Shuduo. Yeah. Cool. I took the Chinese pronunciation of the X's there because it flowed a little bit better, but thank you. Alright, RPCV Liz. I love how you've highlighted that Winta has 3 strong female role models to learn from. It didn't occur to me how Canon Kara would understand what your version of Winta has gone through and how training would help her cope with the trauma. So that's something I'm hoping that we get more into in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, is more backstory. I want more backstory for Din, I want more backstory for Kara, because I pretty much fabricated all of that. There isn't a whole lot of lore surrounding Kara right now. So I'm hoping to get those filled in, kind of, outside of the canon that I've created, because that would be awesome. Yeah, Winta is surrounded by strong, amazing, badass women, and she's going to become a strong, amazing, badass woman, She's going to be incredible. I mean, she already is, but when she grows up, she is going to be amazing. I also loved her interaction with the armorer, strength and nurturing by the matriarch, and the nervous bravery by Winta. Your description of Winta's feelings as she was getting fitted for her chess piece made me wonder if Din might have felt the same way when the time came for him. Winta's interest in the forge does make me wonder if she'll maybe be the next armorer. I wonder. Anyway, I hope Amara sees the value in her daughter visiting often. That would provide the necessary distraction and build the confidence that Winta needs. Great chapter. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely another source of conflict in the story, is Omera kind of being very hesitant about all of this. She's like, I don't want my daughter to turn into a killing machine, thank you. That would not be good. I don't think I would be okay with that. But at the same time, it's like she can't really avoid it. So it's this tension that I'm really hoping to pull on. And yeah, Winta's interested in the forge. She's like, this is something I've never seen before, and I love it. It's so cool. And I got to nerd out a little bit because I watched Forged in Fire on History Channel, so I got to pull on that knowledge that I have about forging, like, blades and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I get to nerd out too. So thank you, RPCV Liz, for your comment. Paper Fires. God, your profile picture still kills me. I love it. Kara showing up made me smile, but then Winta bonding with the armorer. I'm so excited to see how that relationship develops and how that impacts the way Winta finds her place in Mandalorian culture. Also, Winta getting to hear from someone else that her dad is super proud of her was so heartwarming. This girl deserves all the love. It makes, when your parent says, I'm so proud of you, it's like, yeah, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. But then when they brag about you to their mom friends and their dad friends or their parents, when you get your mom telling your Siti, your grandma, just how proud of you she is, it hits way different. It hits on a different level. So yeah, I wanted to pull on that a little bit because the armor is kind of the cool grandma in this situation, isn't she? Also, baby missing his daddy and snuggling up in his clothes. Ooh, and we got a bonus key smash this week. Here we go, paper fires. Akshud kakshikshud. All right, yours is a lot. It's a lot simpler. I appreciate the aesthetic on yours, but yeah, thank you for the bonus key smash this week. All right, and if anybody else feels the need to donate a key smash, let me know. Even more, even more. Hi, I loved your comment. Because it was very it's a different comment and I really appreciate it. So even more comments, I can rather imagine that conversation about fear if Winta had it with Din, and then even more kind of writes what that conversation might sound like. So, Winta, being scared isn't a bad thing. Fear is natural, helps keep you safe. Being brave, it isn't about not being afraid. Being brave is when you're scared, but you do what you have to do anyway, and that's what you did. Again, really interesting comment, and I can see where that direction could have gone with the story. However, I did have my I I had a reason for doing it like that, and later I replied to Even More, and Even More was like, "Oh no, I wasn't complaining about it. This was awesome." And I was like, "Thank you." But I thought about actually having a conversation kind of like this with Din during the one shot that I posted last week. But then I kind of walked that back a little bit as that story developed into its own thing. Um, well, we've already got a lot of emotional vulnerability between Winta and Din, and we've had a lot of sweet moments with them, which I would not trade for the world. But at the same time, we don't want to overplay. You don't want to overplay your hand there. So I wanted to make sure that while Winta is comfortable with being vulnerable with Din, she's not comfortable being vulnerable with the armorer. And that is absolutely crucial to the rest of this book. Winta has got to trust the armorer, not just on a superficial, my dad trusts you, therefore I do kind of level, but at a personal, emotional level. She needs to know that she can be vulnerable with the armorer. And so that's where that came in. And the fear aspect came in because, yes, Winta is a little bit scared of the armorer. And I mean, when I first saw the armorer, I too was a little scared. But then, okay, who mentioned nurturing? RPCV Liz. The nurturing kind of came into play. And it's not the kind of nurturing that, say, Omera offers. It's not that kind of maternal nurturing. It's very tough. It's very factual, but at the same time, it's so constructive and so important, So that's why I took a different direction with that. But thank you so much, Even More, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Don't be shy in the comments either. Like, keep them coming. I love it. Strange Blue gave extra kudos. Thank you very much. All right, Calico or Calico321. This was fantastic. I absolutely loved Winta and the Armorer's budding relationship. She's going to have a whole team of teachers and mentors. Maybe she can learn to craft Beskar herself. Maybe. Might be interesting. However, I refuse to make an official comment on it. Need more Omera Kara bonding, especially now they know they're both from Alderaan. Yeah, I think that might be in the future too. Can't really confirm, but I think you'll be happy. Really loved the opening section of fixing the jacket and then the baby missing his daddy. So good. Thank you so much, Calico. You are a sweetheart. Let's see. Suffocatingly positive to wrap things up. Ah, that's always a good sign. I love Winta's interaction with the armorer. It was so well written. Thank you so much. I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but I was worried about that. My two big phrases apparently are that was important to flesh out, and I was worried about that. But yeah, because it is such a big moment in the rest of the novel that I have plotted out. It's a big crux moment where Winta and the armorer meet on the same playing field. It's vital that that went off without a hitch, and that it went off clearly, and that it was well written. That was absolutely paramount, you know? So I just, and the armorer's voice can be a little hard to really put a pin on, you know? Two things that are really hard to write: kids and the armorer. That's I don't know where I was going with that, but kids can be really hard to write, and people who use that sort of elevated tone can be hard to write, because while the armorer does use this sort of regal, elevated diction, she doesn't talk like, you know, pompous. She's not pompous. She's not, you know, she doesn't use large words. She just uses words very slowly, very effectively, very carefully. And so capturing that and putting it against Winta, who is, you know, a 10-year-old girl who has just kind of been uprooted from her whole life and is now trying to find her way in this new society, you know? So I am so relieved that it came across and that you guys loved it. It's a huge relief for me, because the big thing that I want out of this is to make people happy. That's all I want. And I just want you guys to be happy with it. I want you guys to read it and go, yeah, that was a good experience, you know? It's all I want. All right, I think that about wraps things up. Once again, leave your comments on the pieces. I've got my Twitter DMs open. I've got my Ask box on Tumblr open. You can post stuff to me, you know, that kind of thing. If you have any questions about the story, if you have any questions about writing stuff, any questions about me as a human being, go for it. And I will see you all for chapter 6, which is incidentally going to be back on Ilion and back with our little group of bounty hunters. All right, everybody, fight the good fight and have a good day. Bye!